Hello viewers, welcome back to the weekly market update. I'm Aditya from the equity desk. So this week the global market correction induced volatility and immense correction in the domestic markets as well. We saw that global indices such as Dow Jones, Nasdaq, S&P all have corrected in this week. And even on the home front, we saw that Nifty, Bank Nifty, small cap, mid cap, every index was on the correction mode for the whole week. So just to have a perspective, Nifty and Bank Nifty fell by around 5%, while small cap and mid cap indices fell by more than 3.5% each. So on the sectoral front, except for pharmaceuticals, every sector was in the red. The top loser for the week was PSU banks, which fell by more than 7%, followed by metals, energy and media, falling by more than 6% to 7% each. On the global market update, one of the biggest reasons why we saw a correction this week was the Fed interest rate cut. Although the markets were expecting a 25 basis point cut, which was exactly how it was executed, but the Fed chair, Mr. Powell, indicated that the rate cuts would be around 2. So 2 rate cuts for 2025, while the markets were expecting a number of 4 rate cuts for 2025. And the statement was, however, hawkish from the Federal Reserve. Towards the close of the week, we saw data coming from China as well. So the loan prime rate was maintained unchanged at 3.1%. And even the Bank of Japan kept their interest rates at the ultra low territory as they have known for. Moving on to institutional activity for the week, FIIs again have turned out to be the net sellers, selling to the tune of more than 12,000 crores in the cash market, while the domestic institutional investors have bought equities worth more than 10,000 crores. On the commodity front, we see that silver was the main commodity which fell by more than 4.5% in this week, followed by Brent crude, which cooled off to 68, falling by 3.5%, and then we see gold, which fell by around 1.5% in this week. Moving on to some important events which came out this week. So India's trade deficit has soared to a record high of more than 37.8 billion in November as gold imports surged. And our Honorable Finance Minister, Mrs. Sitaraman, had indicated that the lower GDP growth might be a temporary blip, and she has indicated of strong economic growth ahead. On the similar lines, India Ratings has pegged India's GDP growth for FY26 at 6.6%, which is a better forecast. And they have said in their report that the growth will be driven by consumption and investments. Services and manufacturing data also was released in this week, where the services activity rose from 58 to 60, while the manufacturing activity has increased from 56.5 to 57.4. We saw this in the HSBC PMI index data. On the cooling of inflation, WPI inflation has also cooled off to 1.89%, largely driven by the softening in food inflation, which has reduced from 11.5% to now 8.9%. Some more news on the global front and on the domestic front. So after 1,030 days, Russia is ready to compromise with Ukraine. They have stated in the statement that they are in talks with newly elected President Mr. Donald Trump, and they have stated that they are ready to compromise with Ukraine. Bharti Airtel has announced a prepayment of spectrum dues, which a spectrum that they had bought in 2016. So they have prepaid more than 3,600 crores to the Department of Telecom. JSW Energy is in talks with South Korea's LG Energy to form a JV which will result in manufacturing of EV batteries and even renewable energy sources. The FMCG conglomerate ITC has acquired a stake in EIH Hotels, which already operates luxury hotels such as the Oberoi's, Maidens and the Trident. In the news of fundraising, we see that Yatharth Hospital and Trauma Care Services has launched a qualified institutional placement, setting the price at 626 per share. Related to fundraising, we see that 3 IPOs are going to be listed in the next coming week. One of them is Concord Enviro, Transrail Lighting and Sanathan Textiles. The frenzy in the IPO market continues to go on, where there was a company by the name of Nagdak Infra which came up with their IPO in the preceding week, and the issue was for just 10 crores. while they have received bids for 14,000 crores. So this is the sort of frenzy which is going on in the IPO markets. So thank you for watching. That is it for this week, and see you in the next coming week. Thank you.